3 ways to improve the deadlift. Now, as usual, before we move forward with this topic, we need to define a few terms.
Okay.
When we discuss deadlifting, we will not talk anything about moving more weight. What we want to do with the deadlift is to improve the technique of how we do it. If I were to give someone tips on how to just lift more weight, it would basically impede on the ability of our body to break down the tissues, overload our tissues the way that we actually could. So this topic will give us better ways to generate the overload, to break our body down, to stress ourselves out for the deadlift, and not necessarily just to move more weight. It's very easy to just move weight on the deadlift and get super close to the bar and lift with the lower back, and that's just not our objective. What we want to do here is we want to overload the proximal ends of the hamstrings, all the glute tissues with the deadlift, as well as expose the back to enormous amounts of isometric tension while we do this lift. This lift is phenomenal for general strength, bone density, glute and hamstring development.
Anyway, about my
core training, tension on the trapezius, isometric tension on the lats, the rhomboids.
You have your ubulus muscle that connects to the upper dorsimus. It's boring, but it's part of my life.
It's a phenomenal movement. So with the deadlift, the very first thing that we want to focus on is we have to be in front of the bar. Shoulders need to be in front of the bar, and it looks like this. So if we have our XY graph, per usual, right here, and if our little stick figure is looking this direction and we're here, and the weight is actually right here, and we have the weight, if this person were to approach the bar, and this is the person's head right here, I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit on the drawing, but we want this person's shoulders 10 degrees right here in front of that bar. Another good reference point is to have the crease of the arm right by the armpit, right over the bar. The most important thing that we want to look for when we're deadlifting is to have that barbell underneath the shoulder blade, because if not, that barbell will not ascend. The barbell needs to be underneath the scapula in order for us to generate that pull.